I'm Megan Hughes from the Freedom Flickers 4-H Club, and I'm here to talk about the basic table setting. Have you ever been asked, would you please set the table? I know I have at one time or another, and I bet everyone else in here has also. Well, I've had friends over for a sit-down dinner where my family is cooked and served, and I was always asked to set the table. And when it had multiple utensils, my friends always seemed embarrassed when they had to ask which one to use. So I'm here to make sure that this does not happen to you. Today we are going to cover the basic table setting. I will cover tablecloths. I will cover the use of the placemat, where to place it, and how it is used. I will show the placement of the dinner plate, the salad plate, and the water goblet, along with the forks, the knife, and the spoon. And I will also show all the other utensils that you can bring in for a more elaborate meal. Believe it or not, table setting is meant to be logical and efficient. First, the placemat. And this one is made for a typical normal daily setting. First, the placemat is placed to make it easy to clean up all the spills. It catches all the slips and spills the person using it may have, or you can use a tablecloth, that best fits with your decor and tableware. The tablecloth just works as a placemat, but on a bigger scale. Next, the dinner plate is centered no more than 2 inches from where you're using your placemat. As a helpful hint, you can use your thumb. The width of your thumb is an inch. So since we're using a placemat, you're going to take, sorry, I have to use the mirror also to show you. You're going to take both your thumbs and put them next to each other and put them down next to your plate. Perfect. The closest utensil should be 1 inch away. This helps when picking up utensils and when going to eat or move stuff around. You do not bang and clang on all this stuff around you. Quick fact, the most common household name for utensils is silverware, but the best name for it is flatware. That is because most utensils do not have silver. The ones I'm using today are made of silver. Remember how I said table setting is made to be logical? Well, here's where it really starts to show. The utensils are placed in order of use from left to right, and sometimes you work left to right going inwards. The smallest fork, called the salad fork, is the first one on the left, shown right here, right next to the salad plate, shown right there. That it will be used with. It is right next to the salad plate, so you know that it's the one that you use with it. The salad plate is what you will receive for your first course. Next to the salad fork comes the dinner fork. Its real name is the meat and fish fork. That is what you will use it for. That is exactly what you use it for when you eat. But if you have other needs for it on your dinner plate, for green beans or something, you don't want to use your spoon, that is perfectly acceptable. The knife comes next. It is placed on the right-hand side of it, shown right here. But you want to make the blade point in towards the plate when setting the table. Just right here. Next is the water goblet, better known as the water glass. It can be used to serve other iced beverages, but when placing it on the table, you want to make sure that the knife points straight up to the water goblet. You can also serve your water in water tumblers for a more contemporary look. Next to the knife is the dinner spoon, shown right here, which actually goes with the dessert course that is used with your coffee. But if it's the only spoon at the dinner, it becomes very versatile and you can use it with anything that you need to. On top of your plate, fanned out beautifully in your water glass, you can have a specially folded napkin, shown right here. When using a large dinner napkin, you want to unfold it, but leave it so it's folded once in half. And when placing it on your lap, you want to have the fold away from you. When you're using a luncheon napkin, which is a smaller napkin, you can have it just totally open across your lap. Now this would be a basic table set. For a more elaborate meal, you will have this layout as a base, and you will just add more on top of it. For example, if you plan to have appetizers, you will use a small fork called a cocktail fork, like this one here, and you'll place it above the plate. Also, if you want to bring in soup, you will bring a soup ball in, put it right on top of your dinner plate, and you must add a soup spoon. The soup spoon then goes right next to your dinner spoon. That is why at formal dinners you will see a small spoon of, or helpful hint. You can only have 3 utensils on each side of your plate. That is why you will see the extra silverware above at formal dinners, like I have shown here. Just like that. And if you were bringing in other glasses to use, say you want water and juice or something else, you'll just put the other glasses right to the right of your water goblet. Whatever your menu is dictates what your setting will be. The menu that would most likely go with this would be a salad, meat, and a vegetable. And if you bring in the soup and the appetizers, that would also go with it. And remember, if you add another course, you must add another utensil. If you do not have soup-serving utensils for all these things, you can always improvise. Just bring in whatever looks nice with your decor. Also, if you do not have a very fun table, you can always bring in a vase of flowers or a candle arrangement to make it look nice. You want your table to be an inspiration of you. Today we've covered the basic table setting. I talked about the use of the tablecloth. I covered the use of the placemat, where to place it and how it is used. I have shown the placement of the dinner plate, the salad plate, and the water goblet in relationship with utensils such as the fork, the knife, and the spoon. I also covered other things that you can bring in to make it a more elaborate meal. I got all my information from many books, such as Entertaining by Martha Stewart, The Complete Guide to the New Manners of the 90s by Lydia Baldridge, and The Elements of the Table by Lynn Rosen. This completes my presentation. Are there any questions? Yes. The question is, how can we remember which way to turn the knife? I guess if you really want a little way to do it, you always face it in. You work from the way outwards to the way in, so it would be pointed in.
If you think about how you cut meat,
She also says that if you think about the way you cut your meat, your knife is in that direction, so that's a great helpful hint. Oh, yes?
What about if you have a left-handed person at your table? How does that affect the way you see them, and does that affect at all the way you set the table?
The question is, what if you have a left-handed person at your table? You would flip everything, and you would put them on the other side of the table so that they have their arms, so they're not banging on the side, so they're not banging everybody else.
So does the place setting itself change? Do you like move your forks over the other way, or is that what you do?
She also asked if the place setting has changed. Yes, the place setting has changed. You flip the stuff to the other side, so it makes it easier for them.
So the glassware, everything changes?
Yes, everything changes. Yes.
You mentioned earlier about coffee. If there's a coffee cup present, where does that go?
The question is I talked about using your spoon with your coffee. If there's a coffee cup, and she wants to know if there's a coffee cup present, where do you put your spoon? The coffee usually comes at the end of your meal, so everything should be taken away. So your coffee cup will be in the middle of your plate setting, and your spoon can be to the side of it, or you can use it. Are there any more questions? Yes.
You have a very nice looking fork. How did you do that? Did you print all that stuff off the place, or did you take it done?
The question is, how did I make such a nice fork coaster? Actually, I have an aunt who is in graphic design, so I am very lucky. Are there any more questions? Yes.
In your information that you gleaned, did it talk about the napkin
The question is there anything in my books that I read about table setting about not having the napkin on the plate made out of your water glass because it has bacteria and you can get the bacteria in your food? It actually did not.
Okay.
But I see where you're coming from for sure, and I would totally take that into consideration.
Well, I was taught to put the napkin on the outer part of the forks because you want to work yourself in. So that's the first thing you do is say you grab your napkin and then you lay it across your lap. But I always set my table, sometimes fancy, so I always want to put it in the goblets or some kind of fan thing, in the goblets. So maybe that's just gone out with the wash.
Oh, I bet. I think they just want to make everybody wants to have a pretty table when everybody walks in.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
What about like a teaspoon? This may not be as popular in the Midwest as in the South, but a lot of people put sugar in their tea, and so they have teaspoons. Where would you place the teaspoon?
I guess the teaspoon would be brought out with it, and I don't know exactly, but I think I remember seeing in the books in this book I read, you want to put it with the spoon hanging off of it. I don't know if that's correct or not though. Yes.
How do you properly show that you're done eating?
Oh, the question is how do you properly show how you are done eating? If you are at rest, you make a V. I'll show you. You make a V with your fork and your knife. But if you are done, you lie them diagonally across your plate, and that's how the server knows that you are done and he can take your plate.
Okay, so B means you're still eating.
Yes.
So don't take my plate, like
Yes.
rest.
Yes, like I'm at rest. I'm still eating.
Okay.
But if you diagonally put your food, that means that the server can take your plate away. Are there any more questions? This concludes our presentation. Thank you.